causes or reasons of why drug dealing exists in Europe, but the main one is the economy of the country and or the economy of the populations. So basically there are a lot of poor people and someone influences them to become a drug dealer because they can generate a lot more of income now becoming a drug dealer than what they have in their regular job. Another reason is because drug addicts cannot afford to buy more drugs, so they have to start selling some drugs in order for them to generate money to buy more drugs for them. So this vicious circle that I'm explaining continues, and eventually these people influence more people to get into this business of selling drugs.
The trafficking and abuse of drugs affect nearly all aspects of people's lives. The economic cost alone is immense, estimated at nearly 215 billion. The damage caused by drug abuse and addiction is reflected in an overbundled justice system, a strained healthcare system, lost productivity, in permanent physical and emotional damage to users, and negatively impacting their families, co-workers, and many others with whom they have contact. Drug use negatively impacts a user's health, often leading to sickness and disease. In many cases, user dies prematurely from drug overdoses or other drug-associated illnesses. Drug law violations constitute a substantial proportion of incriminations in local, state, and federal facilities and represent the most common arrest category.
The DEA, or the Drug Enforcement Administration, has been combating the drug trafficking events in Europe. It is also combating regional drug trafficking agencies that use very complex methods and aggressive methods to combat these drug traffickers. It regulates the small agencies and helps them combat drug use, and also controls the emergence of new drugs like the ecstasy in Europe that is having place right now. It also implements anti-drug programs across the world and in Europe.
The European Union and the member states have developed together a system to approach drug traffic and drug use in Europe. This system was established from 2013 and it was supposed to be valid till 2030. Even though there has been a lot of controversies regarding this program, as the European citizens think that it's useless, yet the government still tries to implement it a little bit more in the action to prevent drug trafficking.
The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, established in 1997 by the United States of America with the help of various organizations, is the global leader on fighting illicit drugs and crime. It also helps countries fight their organized crime by providing help and resources. It diminishes the use of drugs and establishes international order and support. It works in all regions of the world thanks to its extent on field offices. It helps local agencies to fight drug abuse and drug trafficking, and is also a part of the Millennium Declaration.
The World Federation Against Drugs, established in 2009.
The main objective of this organization is to create a drug-free world by creating conscience on the side effects of consuming and trading drugs. The important actions this organization takes is to make conventions throughout all Europe. The most important convention in the year is the World Forum Against Drugs. It is 2 times a year, and many important people of the different countries go to discuss which actions that they can take to avoid drug consuming and trading.
The way we can help against the drug use in Guadalajara taking in regards the way that Europe has attacked this problem is by trying to educate children in schools to not use drugs as the first main cause of drug traffic is that a lot of people buy it. So when people stop buying the product, it lowers the demand and it breaks the drug trafficking. Another thing would be to raise campaigns for the drug addicts to like drug rehabilitation programs that would help them stop their addiction and break the system too, the drug traffic system.
We propose a campaign for all the governments of Europe to encourage people to go and help in rehabilitation programs for drug addicts. We also encourage people to teach their children to not consume any type of drugs, to enforce any type of education that they can give in schools to prevent the spread of more drug addicts. About drug traffic, I'm gonna talk about my own personal experience because I don't know a lot about the topic. In regards of the consumption, who consumes it, I think it's a lot about young people between 13 and 14 years old and 13 and 30 years old. Me personally, I consumed a lot of drugs. I think that almost 80% of the society has consumed drugs, especially young people, because of parties and distraction, and it's fun and it makes them do parties. What type of drugs we consume? The most common drug is the cannabis, of course. It's the one that it's more popular. Everybody consumes it. After that, we talk about ecstasies, methamphetamine, but we don't consume it a lot as much as the cannabis because there's people that specifically drug themselves from that stuff, but normal people, they just consume cannabis. We can talk about how it's organized. I think in general that the drug is that I cannot really say, but it's really poor zones in the slums where poor people and the people that are more propense to buying drugs and consuming drugs, it's easier in that way to find people who consume drugs and who sell drugs. What can I do to change something? It's really hard to say. I think that before anything, parents should sensibilize children because it's really easy to get drugs. It's present in every party. There's always that one friend that has drugs or cannabis or something, and it's something that it's really normal to consume and to find. So I think that the effect of it being prohibited as a young person, it's like, oh, we need to try it so we can like go against the law and the rules. We need to try it. I did it because of that. And we realized that after 30 years old, people just stop consuming drugs. And we're not as young, we don't do as much parties. And I think it's like about the young people, the parents should really explain the young people about the things. The government, well, I think that it's the level of the laws that it makes that the consumption exists and the distribution is always there. It's because the laws are not enough. If they find you with drugs, the police just takes it away, but they let you go. There's no punishment. The law says that they can condemn you to 1 year of prison just because of consumption of having it. And about the laws and the repression, just about laxism from the side of the government. There's people that consume drugs regularly, that have drugs. Maybe they're gonna have like 1 month of prison or 2, but in comparison of what they gain and from trafficking it, it's more interesting that follow the traffic and continue it than making 2 more months in prison.
So, what I learned from this experience is that drug use is a really serious problem around the world, and not only in Europe but in every country. Drugs are invading our planet and our everyday life, and we need to take action by using the resources these agencies are providing and the information and education they are providing for us to control and stop eventually drug use so that we can have a better
Project, I have learned that the drug trafficking is a big deal. Having associations helping this problem, I think is very important. It's really a need. And also I have learned that you can help those associations without even being with them. You can contact them and you can be in Mexico helping an association in Europe. You only have to contact and they will tell you what to do. And also it's very, very, very appreciated.
What I learned was that drug traffic is not only an issue in Mexico as we all think. It's like an issue, a big issue in all around the world. And there's a lot of people that not only in Mexico but like in Europe and Spain and France, they still have a lot of problems with drug traffic. There's a lot of drug addicts and there's a lot of deaths because of that.
In the networking mission, I learned a lot of hard facts about drug trafficking in Europe. For example, I learned that the police officers found more than 500,000 drug dealings only in Spain, and many other facts that are really shocking. I also learned the importance of knowing how to interact and network with associations. In this case, I had to contact several associations related to drug trafficking in Europe and in the world, and some replied to my questions and some didn't. Apart from all this, I also learned how drug dealing affects the people and the countries, but it benefits the dealers. So there's something that is missing here because it affects a lot of people, but it makes some people income increase a lot.
I learned that we can help from our house, from our community, to stop drug trafficking and drug consuming because we, the citizens, are the main consumers and we need the education to stop this. And I also learned the different techniques the government use to try to avoid this issue.